And just before we start, I'm just going to show you where we're going to be working with the ball. So we're going to work with 2 spots. And the first spot is going to be just kind of off the spine of the scapula. So you can use your fingers and you can just palpate along that bone, which is that top area of your shoulder blade, normally quite prominent in your body. And just walk the fingers along there and then fall off it about an inch and then take them up about an inch. That's going to be our first spot that we're going to work with. And then the second spot we're going to work with is this whole area of tissue just under the back of the bottom of the kind of shoulder blade spine. So you're going to place the ball under the armpit there, and you can use that whole area. It's all fair game. It's going to be probably a little bit tender for most bodies. Great. So we're going to start. If you come up to the wall and grab your ball, and then taking your left hand to your right shoulder, just palpate that bone of your scapula, of your shoulder blade. Walk all the way along it towards your neck. Just fall off the shoulder blade there, and then just move your fingers up about an inch, and that's where you're going to place your ball. And you're going to bring yourself onto the wall there, and then you can walk the feet away from the wall as much or as little as you want. So obviously the further that you take your feet away, the more pressure you're going to put on the ball. And then you can just have a little bit of a roll around, using the ball just to begin to kind of push the fluid of that fascial tissue around. And then just see if you can find a spot that you can hold. And remember, with this myofascial work, you want to avoid really something that's too strong. So find a point that you can hold for about 30 seconds or so. Become still. And then you're going to lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. You're going to breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're just going to bring the arm across the body and turn your chin down towards your left shoulder as you breathe out. And then breathing in, you're going to bring the right arm back up, bring the chin back up, and then breathing out, same thing. The arm comes across the body and the chin dips towards your left shoulder. And I just want you to continue like that for a number of breaths, moving slowly, taking the arm across the body. Good. Take one more here. Inhale. And then exhale. Just release. Take another couple of breaths. Good. And then just slowly walk your feet back in. Grab your ball. And we'll take the same point on the other side. So take your right hand and just find that bone of the left shoulder blade. Walk along it. Fall off the end of it. And then bring the ball up about half an inch to an inch, depending on the size of your body. And then again, you can bring the weight onto the ball and move the feet away from the wall, depending on how much pressure that you want to put on. And just have a little roll around there. And these points through the top of the back of the shoulders can become really tight, especially if you're sitting at a computer all day, through postural habit. Great. And then find a spot that you can hold. Take the left arm up, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, just bring the arm across the body. And again, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. A couple more here. Good. And then just release the arm. Take another breath. Lovely. And then just walk the feet back in. remove the ball. And before we move to the next point, just stand into Tadasana, shut the eyes. And just begin to notice sensation. As you know, we're working through the arms and the shoulders today. And these areas are really prominent and really important in terms of our mental health as well. In Chinese medicine, it's the area of joy. Also, the lung meridians travel through this space. So, lung meridians mainly connected to grief. So, really important to do this work to help us to clear these channels. Take the ball again. This time we're going to work under the armpit. So you're going to take the ball in the left hand, bring it under your right armpit. Any of this area is fair game, like I said at the beginning, and then bring your weight onto the ball on the wall. And you can just move around. Again, you've got quite a big area here that you can cover. These points for me are really tender, particularly where the lats come around, connect to the top of the tricep. And then just find a point that you want to hold with. Keep the pressure on the ball and take your right arm into a cactus shape. And then with the breath, you're just going to begin to internally and externally rotate the arm. So bringing it down and then bringing it back up. And then bringing it down and up. And just take a couple more rotations here. If it's too strong for you, if it's too tender, just have the arm hanging. You don't have to take the movement. Good. And then release. And just come and find another point on that same side. So just roll. Again, you might want to use your hand to help you find another spot. And then when you found another spot that you want to work with, again, just make those internal and external rotations with the arm in the cactus shape. One more breath. Good. And release from the wall. And we'll switch straight to the other side. So take the ball under the left armpit. And again, just begin to make some movement. You can kind of move it right down or right up towards that bone. And then when you found a point that you want to work with, pause there and hold and bring the left arm into a cactus shape. Inhale. And then exhale, just make that rotation. One more breath. Good. And then have another little roll. Find a point, another point. And we'll just be here for another 4 or 5 moments, making that rotation with the arm. Lovely. And then exhale, release, walk the feet back in, remove your ball. And we're going to come straight onto our mats. So we're going to work with the triceps. You're going to need your brick and you're going to bring your head down onto your brick. You're going to be on your side. You're still going to need your ball. So bring yourself down, have the brick like a little pillow, and then place the ball under the tricep on whichever side you're lying. Doesn't matter which side you do first. And then you're just going to find a point. Again, you want to avoid it being too tender. And again, these tricep points can be quite tender because we don't work them very much. And then just start by cross-fibering over the ball. So you're moving the arm kind of laterally over. one side and then the other. And that might be quite strong for you. And if it is, you can just stay with that movement. If you want to add on, you can begin to extend the arm out and then bring the hand back in. So you're flexing and extending at the elbow. And then if you want to add on even more, you can begin to internally and externally rotate the hand as you take the movement of the hand arm coming in and out. Good, take one more breath. Lovely. Pause and hold. Inhale, and then we'll switch to the other side. So just roll yourself over. I'm just going to switch so I'm facing you still. And again, bring the head down on the brick like a little pillow. And then bring the ball right underneath the tricep there. You can just cross fiber to begin with over the ball. In my body, I find that the top part of my arm is more tender than the bottom, but you might experience something different. Maybe have a little experiment. And then if you want to add on, just begin to flex and extend the arm at the elbow. And then internally and externally rotating with the hand, adding on a little bit more. Great, just another couple of breaths. Inhale, release, and move your ball off. Don't think we'll be using it again. We will need the block though, so just bring the block somewhere by your side. And then we're going to come straight into a child's pose. Knees can be together or wide, it's up to you. Extend the arms forward for this child's pose in front of you. Bring the forehead down and just pause there and take a couple of breaths. When I'm working with the chest and the shoulders and the arms, I always think a lot about this kind of these layers that we bring or kind of contain our body within that affect our posture, which in turn affect our mental health. And I think so much about this idea of kind of unwrapping this area, opening it up. So as you pause here, just see if you can allow the heart to sink a little bit closer to the floor so that you can feel more of an opening across the front. And then slowly just begin to push the hands into the floor so that the elbows hover a little bit off the ground. You still want to plug your arms in towards your shoulder sockets here. Take another breath. And then exhale. Good. You're going to inhale. You're going to come up onto all fours. Walk the hands right off to the right side of your mat. Come on the pads of your fingers. And then sitting the hips all the way back. Coming into a twisted child's pose. And see if you can focus on that left sit bone coming close towards your left heel and your left little finger walking away from that left hip. So you're really targeting the whole left side of the body under the armpit, all the way down the arm. Take one more breath. And then inhale, coming all the way back up, walking the hands off to the other side, sitting yourself down. Exhale there. And again, focus this side on the right sit bone, coming towards your right heel and reaching as far as you can forward through your right little finger. Think of all that work that you just did, freeing up the back side of the shoulder and the underneath arm. And just continue to open into that space. One more breath. Good. Inhale, walk the hands back, coming to all fours, and then sinking the hips up and back to down dog. Again, keep the arms plugged into the shoulder sockets so that you're keeping that connection. And then see if you can turn the top of the triceps out away from each other. So you're finding a little bit more space through the top part of the shoulder where it meets the neck. Good. Take another breath here. And then inhale, keep the right hand on the floor, take the left hand, and you can either grab the shin or the ankle there, twisting yourself in and underneath your right armpit. Draw the right hip back. Keep pushing forward and down through that right hand. Take another breath. And then inhale back to center. And we'll switch sides. So the right hand is coming to left shin or ankle. And you're drawing yourself underneath. One more breath. Inhale. Good. Unravel, down dog. Exhale. Bring yourself onto your knees, all fours. Take your left hand in front of your face. And then you're going to begin to spiral the right arm back behind you, working with the breath. See if you can get the whole body involved. So the right arm is moving in these wide circles. So the arm stick is really moving within the shoulder socket there. And then on your next exhale, bring that right arm in and underneath the left, thread the needle and come down on the side of your head. Good. Take a couple of breaths here. Just kind of soften the muscles around your spine. Soften the muscles through the neck. And then if this is strong enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, extending the left leg out to the left side, pushing down through the outside edge of the foot. And then maybe taking the left arm up and behind the body for a bind, either grabbing top of the right thigh, or you can have the hand on the sacrum there. Just take another couple of breaths. Good, lovely. Inhale, unravel gracefully, coming back to an all fours, and we'll switch sides. So starting with those circles, rotating the left arm all the way up and back. If any of you know the work of Mark Nipo, he wrote this amazing book called The Untethered Soul. He talks about life being like wearing gloves. And every time we wake up every day, we need to remember not to put the gloves on. Choosing not to put the gloves on so that we can stay ungloved to the world and to ourselves. Good. Spiral this left arm in and underneath, come down on the side of the head. Again, thread the needle, take a couple of breaths here. We spend so much of our life, so much of our energy in our days kind of covering things up. So can we, every time we wake up, remember not to put the covers on, not to put the gloves on? And then maybe taking the right arm up and behind you for your bind, wrapping the hand to the sacrum or the top of the left thigh, maybe extending your right leg out to the side. Good. Breathing in, unravel, coming back to all fours, and then roll yourself all the way down onto your belly. Before you lift into cobra, see if you can draw the shoulders up by the ears and then down the back. Keep them hugging together, the shoulder blades, so they're retracting, and then pull the heart in between the shoulders. Take a breath or two there. And then tucking the toes in either through a plank pose or through child's pose, come back to down dog. 3 breaths. with that image of the ungloved body, ungloved hand in your mind, really notice the skin and the sensation of the skin of the hands as it comes into contact with the mat. And notice that reverb effect from the hands up the arms and into the shoulders. Take another breath. Good. From here, my friends, gaze between your hands. You can lightly step or jump yourself to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Halfway lift, exhale, bow. And then come all the way to standing, breathing in. Breathing out, bring the hands down the side of the body. And again, just take a moment in Tadasana, becoming aware of this area of the chest and the shoulders. See if you can draw the front of the shoulders back slightly, but keep the front ribs hugging in. And then lifting the arms, inhale, and exhale, hinge and fold. Lift and lengthen, inhale, halfway, stepping or jumping yourself back to plank, and lowering all the way down, again to the floor for a cobra. Bring yourself up, roll the shoulders up and back, just a regular cobra to start with, and then exhale, come back to the mat. And then this time you're going to bring yourself up into cobra, and you're going to try and peek your gaze over towards your right foot. You might not be able to see it, you probably won't, but you're trying to look at your right foot. And then notice how your left shoulder's probably snuck forward a little bit, and see if you can hug the left shoulder back towards the left foot. Take another breath there. Good, inhale, and then exhale, release to the floor. We'll switch sides, coming back up into cobra, inhale. And then exhale, twisting with a gaze over the left shoulder. Drawing your right shoulder backwards. Keep breathing here. Lovely. Inhale, release, exhale. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Shift yourself back. Completing this Surya Namaskar, a gaze between your hands, stepping or jumping yourself forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, bow. And then coming back to Tadasana, lifting the arms high. Good, a variation of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, sweeping the arms forward, come to chair. And then exhaling, hinging and bowing yourself over. Good, lift and lengthen halfway, step or jump yourself back to plank. And take yourself through a vinyasa, either up dog or cobra, either one, making sure the backs of the shoulder blades draw together, and then downward facing dog, exhale. Breathing in, step the right foot through between the hand and pop your left foot down, warrior 1, coming all the way up. Good, take the hands to start with into a prayer position above the head, and just find that foundation of the pose. Good, and then interlace the hands behind the back. Again, you're working with this retraction of your shoulders, draw the shoulder blades together, hug the front ribs in. And just take a couple of breaths here. Lovely, and then a bit of a strange transition. Adding on, we're going to take the left hand down towards the floor. You're going to turn the outside edge of your left foot towards the right side of your mat, and you're going to bring the right foot in front. So it's a variation of Vashisthasana. You're on the outside edges of both feet here. Grab your right hand, take it underneath your armpit, and draw your left shoulder blade through. You can really feel this left shoulder, left arm stick hug into the shoulder socket, and then bring the right arm up. Keep pushing the floor away through your left hand. Keep using the outside edges of the feet to help you lift the hips. One more breath. Good. And then you're going to bring your right forearm down towards the mat. You're going to stay on the pads of your left fingers for a moment and come into kind of a one-armed forearm plank. Slightly strange. And then you're going to turn your feet to the other way. So come on the outside edges of the feet towards the left side of your mat, staying on your forearm and lifting into a forearm Vashisthasana. And we have a tendency here to kind of fall back in this pose. So see if you can draw that left hip on top. Keep pushing away through the right forearm. Take another breath. Good. Inhale, forearm plank. Bring the left arm down. Your core has got to be strong here. Your pubic bone is slightly higher or like forward of your tailbone. Legs are strong. One more breath. Good. Knees down, hips down, rib cage down, Sphinx pose. Relief. Take a moment. Good. And then roll onto the belly, plant the hands and step back to down dog. Again, you can come through a push-up or you can come through child's pose. 5 breaths. Lovely. So same on the other side. The left leg is going to step through between the hand and the right foot will come down for warrior 1. Bring yourself up. Bring the arms up overhead. Again, you can actively push up. Hands together. Take a couple of breaths there. Find the foundation through your feet and then interlace the hands behind your back. Draw the hands towards the tailbone. Make sure these floating ribs at the front of the body are still drawing in. Take another breath. And then taking the right hand down to the floor, coming into Vashisthasana with the feet aligned on the other side. So both toes are pointing towards the left side of your mat. Take your left hand, bring it under your armpit, draw the shoulder blade through. So you really feel that support of the shoulder blade flat on the back. Lift the left arm. Take a couple of breaths. And then one forearm plank. Bring the left forearm down. Come on the pads of the left finger. Take a breath there. And then turn the feet to the opposite direction for forearm Vashisthasana. Lift the right arm. Good. One more breath. Inhale, bring the right forearm down, forearm plank. Hold. Curl the pubic bone up. Push through the forearms. Take another breath. Good. And then knees down, hips down, belly down, ribs down. Sphinx pose. Lovely. Inhale, release. Downward facing dog. Exhale. 3 breaths. And just notice as you're holding in downward facing dog that kind of ungloving that Mark Nepo talks about, that the yoga enables. This kind of ability that we have through regular practice to not cover up so much, to forget to put the gloves on, to allow for our attitudes to be the ones that are true. Good. From downward facing dog, gaze between your hands, stepping or jumping yourself to the top of the mat. Lift and lengthen halfway, inhale. Exhale, bow. Chair pose. Inhale. Good. Exhale, release the legs. Mountain. Chair pose again. Inhale. This time you're going to interlace the hands behind the back. Keep the front ribs drawing in. Keep the tailbone lengthening down. And then I want you to see if you can take the hands as far away from the sacrum as possible. So you're creating as much space as you can to work through the front of the shoulder and the pecs. Good. Keep that space between the hands and the sacrum and take yourself all the way up and over into Uttanasana, forward fold. Lovely. And then release the hands, lift halfway, inhale, stepping or jumping yourself back and taking yourself through a vinyasa. Exhale to the ground. Upward facing dog, roll the shoulders up and back. and then downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, my friends. Scissor your right leg up to the sky. Step it through. Brief crescent lunge, coming all the way up. Cactus the arms wide. Draw the elbows back behind the armpits, but keep the floating ribs drawing in. So you've still got that support through the front body as you begin to open through the front of the shoulder. And then plank pose. Inhale. Lower to the floor or chaturanga. Exhale. Lifting into a back bend. Inhale. And then downward facing dog. Exhale. Good. Same on the second side. So the left leg will scissor. You'll step it through. Come up for crescent. Inhale. And then cactus the arms. Couple of breaths here. And just find those key actions again as you cactus the arms. So think about the floating ribs hugging in. Think about the pubic bone lifting up. So there's this whole support through the front body. And then take the armpits back. Sorry, the elbows back behind the armpits. A little bit more. Good. One more breath. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga or knees down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come straight back through to plank and lower back onto your belly. And then we're going to come into locust. So I want you to interlace the hands behind the back. Find that subtle engagement through your belly. And then begin to lift up. And see if you can draw the hands back towards your heels to encourage that opening through the chest. So there's this really active retraction of the shoulders where they draw together. Take another breath there. Exhale, release back down. Keep the interlace with the hands. We're going to come back up and we're going to take a twist. So inhale, lift again into locust. And then exhale, and just with the upper body, you're going to begin to take the hands to the left side of the body. And you're twisting towards the right side. So a bit like we did in Cobra right at the beginning of class. Keep the spine and the neck long. Good. Exhale, release. Switching sides, coming up, breathing in. Bring the hands to the right side, gazing over left shoulder, breathing out. And if you were with me on the spine class about 3 weeks ago, we were working with a soft palate. Remember that soft palate wants to lift forward and up in the back bends. Good. Release back down. Exhale. Child's pose. Push yourselves all the way back and extend your arms forward. And just allow the arms to hang for a few breaths initially. So you're not active through the arms and the armpits. Just be heavy here. Remember, we waste a huge amount of energy trying to cover up who we are beneath attitudes and opinions. And just see if you can let go of anything that you are holding, anything that you are using to cover this space of the lungs and the chest and the heart. Good. Take one more breath. Inhale, you're going to come all the way up. We're just going to take a couple of scapular push-ups here. So it's kind of like cat-cow, but it's not cat-cow. If you've been in my shoulder classes before, you will have done this with me. So you don't want to be moving from the whole spine. We're just focusing on the shoulders here. You're going to inhale. You're going to sink the rib cage towards the floor and just allow the shoulder blades to come together. And then you're going to exhale and push the floor away and allow the shoulder blades to draw apart. And you're going to just work like that with your breath for a few rounds. So inhale, shoulder blades together. Exhale, shoulder blades apart. Inhale together. Exhale apart. One more time. Inhale. Lovely. And then we'll take that into plank. And if anyone wants to keep the knees on the ground, you can. Bring yourself up into the plank. Same movement. So you need to keep legs and belly strong. And then inhale, rib cage draws to the ground, shoulder blades come together. Exhale, push the floor away. And again, inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Knees down, belly down, rib cage down. Cobra or up dog. Inhale. Downward facing, 3 breaths. Exhale. Good. For the next sequence, you may need your strap. So if you haven't got it close by, just make sure it's somewhere that you can grab it. From downward facing dog, we're going to scissor the right leg up to the sky and step it through. Warrior 2, pop your back foot down on the ground. And we're going to start with eagle arms. So find your foundation, make sure you've got a nice wide stance, and then bring your left arm on top of your right. And then I want you to squeeze the hands and the forearms together. Take the elbows slightly forward and then lift them upwards. So you're really working into the back of the shoulder there. Good, take another couple of breaths. Lovely. Inhale, unravel. We're staying in warrior 2. We're going to take cow face. So you might want to use your strap. If you do, just pop it over your left shoulder. Otherwise, bring the arms behind you. See if you can grab your fingers or your top if you don't want to use a strap. Lift that right elbow up and hug this right tricep in towards your ear. Staying in warrior 2 legs. Take a couple of breaths. Good. And then from here, exhale and see if you can lower yourself into side angle pose with this variation through the arms and the shoulders. It's challenging. Keep pointing this right elbow forward, keep pushing back through your left hip. And as we move through this sequence, I want you to notice for yourself which side is more challenged for you, your right or left side. So we're going to work one side twice, and that will be your choice. Lovely. From here, keep this arm variation. Keep turning the chest towards the sides of your mat, and then step your back foot in. Whoop, hop it in. You're on carpet like me. It's a little bit challenging. And then you're going to come into half moon. You're going to keep turning the chest towards the side, lift the leg. If the leg is too much for you, just have that toe on the floor. Turning towards the side. Couple more breaths. Lovely. Step that foot back. Keep the arms as they are. Turn the toes in and the heels out. Lift the chest, inhale. And then exhale, fold yourself over into Prasarita. I'm going to be here for about 5 breaths and see if you can keep a hold of this arm variation. Good. One more breath. And then let go of the hands. So just release the clasp. And just slowly, slowly take your right hand to the base of your skull and your left hand to your sacrum. Just pause there. Lovely. And then inhale, release both arms down, staying in the fold. And you can just kind of move the arms around in the shoulders there. Turning back towards your right foot, either straight back to down dog or you can take a vinyasa. Lovely. And we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to turn myself around so I can face you, face the camera. You don't need to do that. Good. So the left leg is going to scissor. Inhale, step it through. Back foot comes down and just find that foundation through your legs of warrior two. Good. Take your right arm on top of your left. Hug the forearms together, hands together, lift the elbows up. We'll just hold here. See if you can send the elbows forward slightly and then lift up again. One more breath. Lovely. And then cow face arms. And again, if you need your strap, you can just place it over your right shoulder. Take your left arm up this time, bring it down behind you, and then internally rotate the right arm, grabbing your hands or your strap, and just again hold in warrior two with this arm variation. Lovely. And then keeping this arm variation, we're going to take it into side angle. So really having to use those obliques and the abs that we were working last week. Send the left elbow forward. Take a couple of breaths. Turn the chest to the side of the mat as much as you can. And then moving into half moon, keeping the arm variation. Tap the right foot up. Maybe keep the toe on the floor. Maybe you're lifting the leg. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Step it back. Exhale. Keep the arm variation turned towards the side of the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Wide leg forward bend with this arm variation. Good. One more breath. And then like we did on the first side, instead of just kind of coming out really quickly, release the hands. If you've got the strap, just pop it on the floor. Bring the left hand to the base of your skull. Bring your right hand to your tailbone. And just pause there. One more breath. Lovely. And then vinyasa, turn yourself back to the top of the mat. And again, if you want to skip the vinyasa and come straight to down dog or child's pose, then you can. When you get back to downward facing dog, I just want you to take a moment just to remind yourself of those two sides that we've just worked and think through which side you found more challenging. I know in my body it's just it's really clear for me which side I struggle with more than the other. So notice which side that is for yourself. And then we're going to scissor the right leg up to the sky. Step the right foot through between the hands again. Turn yourself back towards the left side of your mat. And we're going to take the arm variation again that you struggled with most. So for me, it's my right arm underneath my left arm on top, which is the one I really struggle with. But it could be opposite for you. If you're left-handed, probably more likely. So choose the one that you struggle with. Inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale, wide leg forward bend. Again, 5 breaths here. Good, one final breath. And then again, just slowly release the hands. Bring one hand to the base of your skull, one hand to your sacrum. Pause there. And then turn back towards your right foot and either down dog or a flow, your choice. We'll all come to rest in down dog for about 5 breaths. Lovely. On your next in-breath, step your right foot through between your hand. Final flow, and we'll come to the floor and do some floor work. Bring the back knee down, low lunge. Sweep the arms all the way up, and then you're just going to interlace your hands behind the base of your skull. So you're just encouraging the skin up on the base of the skull. And then I want you to draw your elbows in towards each other slightly. Keep that. Keep the front ribs drawing in, and lift the heart a bit more. So as you take yourself into this back bend, you've still got this support through the front body. It's like the pubic bone and the sternum are zipping together. Remember, that will just help to protect your lower back in your back bends. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Either vinyasa or downward dog, your choice. And then same on the left side. So the left foot will step through, back knee down. Sweep the arms all the way up. Interlace the hands, or if you prefer, you can take a prayer and just bring the prayer over the head, up to you. You want to keep that idea of the triceps drawing in together. And then push the head upwards and support the front body by drawing pubic bone to sternum. Good, lovely. One more breath. Good, inhale, release. Vinyasa, plank, lower, up dog or cobra, downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Lovely, and then bring yourselves down onto your knees and grab your brick. For some of you using the brick, and we're going to use a variation of puppy pose. For some of you using this brick, it might be a little bit challenging, so you might want to not use the brick, but have a little play and see if it's going to work for your body today. You're going to bring the brick or your book, if you've got a book, just in front of you. And then you're going to bring the hands into prayer and take the hands just over the head there. And then you're going to bring the elbows down onto the brick. Puppy pose. Normally I'd say hips directly on top of the knees, but for this variation, see if you can draw the hips slightly behind the knees so that you can really find a bit of weight to allow the head to come down in between the arms. You're really targeting the underneath of the armpit, that underside of the shoulder and the tricep. And just connect back to the breath, slow it down. Quite a lot of challenge in that class today. So allowing now for the release of these tissues that we've been strengthening. Good, one more breath. Lovely, slowly bring yourself out. Just move your brick off. We're going to stay on the knees. You're going to take your right forearm and you're going to bring it down on the mat with the palm face up. And then you're going to bring your left knee and you're going to bring your left knee onto your hand. Bit of a strange one. So we're using the knees here to do some myofascial work. Then you're going to take your right knee and you're just going to use it like a ball almost on the forearm. And you can just kind of wiggle it around, putting little bits of pressure on, moving the knee up and down the forearm. So it's a bit like some myofascial massage. Lovely. And then staying with that same arm, you're going to turn the hand down, so palm faces down. So we're just going to work through the back of the arm. Bring the right knee up again, and then just move it around on that back of the forearm. Good, and then we'll switch sides. So the left forearm comes down, palm faces up to start with, and then the right knee comes on the left hand there, and then the left knee is going to just be the massage stick. You're just going to work up and down the forearm. Lovely, one more breath. And then turning the palm down, switching the side of the arm. Bring that left knee back in. Good, and then release. We're going to come straight to our back for some variations of bridge pose. So bring yourself down. Bend the knees, have the feet quite close to the sit bones. And then push the floor away and roll yourself up into bridge. I want you to interlace the hands underneath the back without yanking the hands forward, so that you're just bringing the shoulders right underneath you. So again, it's like you're retracting the shoulders underneath you, using the outside edges of your arms to push down into the floor. We'll hold here for a few breaths to start with. And feeling that opening through the chest, the heart, the collarbones, that ungloving of our heart that we can do by working through this area of the shoulder and the arms. And then you're going to stay in bridge with the head, the chest, and the arms. You're not going to move them at all. And you're going to walk both of your feet off to the right side of your mat. Do not move your head or your shoulders or your arms. Feet are off to the right side of the mat, so it's almost like the bottom half of your body is twisted, and then you're just going to sit yourself down. And take a couple of breaths there. Good, and then we'll move to the other side. So pick the hips back up. Again, please don't move your head or your chest or your arms. Keep them exactly where they are. And then just toe heel your feet all the way over to the left side off the mat. And then sit the hips down. And take another breath. Inhale. Good. Exhale, pick the hips up. Come back to a regular bridge pose. Take one more breath there. Just balance right and left side of the body. And then roll yourself back down. Extending both legs out in front of you. Just bring the right arm up by the right ear and roll yourself onto the right side of your body. And then bring your left arm up towards the ceiling, turn the palm backwards, and then bring the left hand behind the back and see if you can snuggle it up between the shoulder blades. So it's like the bottom arm of Gomukhasana arms. And then we're going to roll ourselves all the way back onto our back, keeping the arm where it is. If it's too strong for you, if it's too challenging on the front of the shoulder, then just bring the hand down the back a little bit. And then you can take the right arm and just bring the right arm under the head, the back of the head like a pillow. We're just going to hold here for a number of breaths in this passive opening of the shoulder. And just slow the breath down again. Thinking about all of that energy that you expend unnecessarily, trying to cover things up, trying to put the gloves on. And see if you can, from this practice today, remind yourself over the coming mornings to keep the gloves off. To allow yourself to truly show up with an honest reflection of what's in your heart, in that space. I'm going to come to the other side now. So just roll yourself back onto your right side. Release the arm. Allow it just to rest on the side of the body for a moment. And then switching. So rolling onto the left side. Left arm comes over behind you. And then the right arm turns backwards and snuggle the back of the right hand in between the shoulder blades. And then once you're there, roll yourself back onto your back. And then maybe using the left forearm as a pillow again. Shutting off the eyes. Good. Take one more exhalation here. And then again, just roll yourself back onto the left side. Unravel the back arm. Have it down the side of the body for a breath. And then just roll yourself all the way back onto your back and come for Shavasana. Make sure that the arms are at least 45 degrees away from the body, so you give yourself space to breathe. With as direct a breath as you can, draw energy from the outside into the heart. And then allow that energy to spread through your system. When we hesitate in being direct, we unknowingly slip on those gloves. We add some layer of protection that keeps us from feeling the world. And often that covering is the beginning of diminishing our chances of joy. So as you breathe a direct breath again into your heart, feel that joy. Know that the gloves are off. And then when you're ready, take the arms overhead, stretch back through the hands, forward through your feet. And slowly take yourself off and around and come up to a seat. And take the left hand onto the space of your heart and the right hand on top. Make that commitment to yourself every time that you wake up in this next week. Allow yourself to forget to choose to put the gloves on. Allow yourself to face the world undressed so that you can really chance for feeling that sense of joy. Bow the forehead down towards the heart space. Namaste.